Gin does games!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gin here with another League of Legends guide for you. I figured, following my jungle guide and the meta video, that we should spend some time looking at all the roles on a standards League of Legends team. So this week, let's talk about how to support. The support, for those who don't recall, is generally one of the two members on a team occupying the bottom lane during the laning phase, the other being the AD carry. The support, arguably, has the most difficult job of anyone on the team because of the significant handicap they are set up with. As you know, the map has 4 constant sources of gold on it, the 3 lanes and the jungle. But there are 5 champions. The support is the one who accepts the burden of not taking gold from minions in order to maximize the potential of his or her teammates. So little to no gold from kills, all well tasked with the job of protecting the carry, getting them fed, warding throughout the game, and generally setting your team up for success. The job of support is difficult and often thankless, but if you're up for the task, it's extremely rewarding. So, before we go over the details of the task, let's talk about what makes a good support champion. Because of your lack of gold compared to the rest of the team, a support needs to be able to function well with or without items. Their abilities need to be useful and have weight regardless of whether or not they have ability power or attack damage to boost them. Champions like this fall into a few different categories. First, there are those who are more traditionally thought of as support because their abilities boost their allies, as the word implies. The most classic example of this is Soraka, who provides her allies with extra health, mana, armor, and magic resist. Others, like Janna and Lulu, give their allies shields, more damage, and speed boosts. And then, there are champions who don't have any supporting abilities, but are still extremely useful without items because of the amount of crowd control, vision, or other useful bonuses they provide. Blitzcrank, Leona, and Zyra are great examples of this, able to lock down opponents long enough for the AD carry to crush them without worry. And then there are other oddball champions who can work as a support with the right composition, such as Fiddlesticks with his amazingly low fear and multi-target silence, Teemo with slows, a blind, great harass, and free wards, or even Ashe with slows, a long-range stun, and free vision. So long as you can still be effective with a significantly smaller gold pool than your allies, you can probably make a great support. So, now that we have a general idea of what a good support is, let's talk about what they do. The first, most obviously defining characteristic is that they don't take minion kills from their carry. This leads many to believe that playing as a support is boring and you should spend most of your time just sitting there and watching. This couldn't be further from the truth. A good support spends much of their time harassing the enemy, actively trying to prevent the enemy carry from farming while simultaneously helping yours to do the same. Furthermore, the whole don't take farm thing comes with a few caveats. The meta, as we've described it, was created by pros and for pros. The support not taking farm assumes that the AD carry will, in turn, take all of it. If your AD carry is bad at farming and you're certain that they aren't going to get a creep kill, get it for yourself. In the same vein, there are a few instances where even if your carry is good, you can take some farm for yourself. Say your carry went back to base and you're sitting under the tower. Well, don't just let the tower take the kills, get them for you. It's wasted money otherwise. Now, with what money you do get, what do you buy? Well, firstly, there are a few items that help you along the way. They give you free stuff. There are 3 items in particular that give you free gold. The first is Avarice Blade, which I mentioned first so we can promptly ignore it. It gives the least amount of gold over time passively, which it makes up for by giving you some when you kill things. Now, as a support, you won't often be killing things, so it's rather pointless for us. Furthermore, it builds into a number of aggressive options that generally require you to build other expensive items first for them to be effective, so let's put that one aside. Let's look at the most common choice, Philosopher's Stone. This grants quite a lot of staying power in a lane with health and mana regen, while also giving you the most free gold of the group. It can build into Alace's Miracle, which grants a buff to supporting summoner spells and eventually makes its bonuses permanent. Or it can become Shurelia's Reverie, which is all around one of the best support items, giving useful survivability stats and an active ability that will allow you and your team to travel across the map very quickly. Cage's Lucky Pick is your other slightly more aggressive option. Do remember that you can get both of these, but we're comparing here so you know the difference. The pick gives you slightly less gold, but has a few more options for it to evolve into. In particular, there is Shard of True Ice, which gives you a bunch of useful later game stats, while also letting you keep the gold per 10 bonus. Other options include Will of the Ancients, which gives you and your ally spell vamp, Twin Shadows, which finds and slows enemies, and the Morellonomicon, which inflicts grievous wounds. As a support, much of your money goes towards wards, be it sight wards to get vision, or vision wards to seek and destroy the enemy's wards. Fortunately, the new items in Season 3 have us covered here as well. The Sightstone and Ruby Sightstone items give us free wards. I've done a whole video on wards, so go check that out for more info on how to do it properly. Do note, though, that as a support, you will be expected to purchase and use wards far more often than your allies. In almost all cases, you should probably buy one or more wards every time you return to base. This is less required if you have some form of sightstone, but still desirable. And in that case, vision worms become a much more appropriate purchase. There are many other useful support items, so called because they are cost efficient and allow you to have an effect on the battle regardless of whether or not you deal a ton of damage yourself. These include auras, such as Aegis of the Legion and Zeke's Herald, and items with active effects like Mikhail's Crucible or Locket of the Iron Solari. Your choices are many and varied. Go with what best fits the situation. For runes, in addition to whatever else best fits your character, consider gold per tin seals and quintessences, as they will help you close that gap between your allies and yourself. Also, consider movement speed quintessences, as they will help you get out of sticky situations. Season 3 has given us some great options in the Masteries department as well for doing an awesome job as a support. First, in continuing the gold theme, we have the already existing Greed and Wealth Masteries, granting gold over time and some extra starting gold respectively. Biscuiteer and Explorer give you free items at the start for survivability and early warding. The new version of Scout grants you bonus vision at first, letting you see more than normal. Finally, most importantly, there is the Pickpocket Mastery. This brings us back to our earlier point about harassing the enemy. This gives you yet more reason to be aggressive. Poke at them every few seconds for extra free gold. Now, back at the start, if you remember, I mentioned feeding your carry and setting them up for success. In the early game, the carry is like a small child running around with a sharp knife. Someone's going to get hurt, and if you aren't watching carefully, it might just be them, and you. The carry is not your boss. The carry is weak little baby. It needs to be fed. It needs to be cared for. It needs to be directed. The support will generally be the one that initiates a fight with a pull, stun, slow, or knockup. You make the opportunities. The carry just provides the damage. Similarly, late in the game, a support will often be the initiator of fights, be it with Blitzcrank's pull, Sona's ult, Tarek's stun, Lulu turning things into squirrels, or anything similar. Beyond that, though, your focus should be on helping your allies in whatever way possible, be that healing them, buffing them, shielding them, peeling your enemies off of them, or simply keeping the enemies locked down if that's what your character does. As a support, you should generally stick with an ally at all times. You are oftentimes squishy and underleveled, so sticking with someone else will allow you to leech off their XP and help set them up for kills. If you do need to leave the group, it's generally to drop wards. A key skill for support players is map awareness. Drop wards all you want, but if you don't actually spot what's happening on the map, it'll be useless for you. Be sure to ping the map if you ever spot an enemy out of place, even if it's on the other side of the map. You're the whole team's babysitter, not just the carries. With this, you should have a solid idea of what you should be doing as a support. Protect and feed your carry, ward a ton, and carry your team to victory by keeping them safe and setting them up for success. If you have enjoyed this guide, please let me know by hitting the like button, or mention in the comments below if you have advice or questions. Subscribe for future content, including champion guides, gameplay guides, and other possibly not LOL content if you want. Till next time, I've been Gin, and you've been watching me talk about a video game. Bye!
Support me with my words. I water away your fear. Water away my fear. River traverse soon will be so clear. Better be